Hello, ladies and gents. Thank you for checking out another MSW Media Team training tutorial. Today we are talking about how to share the blog that you just wrote. While writing the blog is really great stuff, we also need to talk about how to get it out there so that everybody can see it and read it and share it and love it and all those other wonderful things. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and dive right in. Today I am going to be showing you how to share a blog, or maybe it's an article that you've read from another website that you've loved and you're just really think it's good material that you want to share with your followers. So I went ahead and I pulled up an article that I'm going to share on my personal Facebook page to show you guys how this works. And of course, I am going to be talking about all things Disney because that's just me. So I already put up an article. It's the foodie guide to the Disney Parks Halloween celebration called the Oogie Boogie Bash. And you'll notice here that I've got it pulled up on my screen. And whenever you want to share an article, 9 times out of 10, there is going to be an option for you to share it. But what does that mean? What does that look like? How do you do it? Well, if you scroll down to the very bottom of the article that you're interested in, then there's typically what they call a share icon. A share icon typically looks like, wow, this is a really long article. A share button typically looks like this right here. It's going to be this little 3 dots, 1, 2, 3, and they're going to have little arrows. So sometimes it won't always have the word share next to it, so don't be alarmed by that. You'll almost always see this button here, and when you click on that button, it gives you options. You can share it via email, you can share it via Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest. Depending on the website and depending on the article, there might be other options that are available for you. Sometimes they'll have Instagram, sometimes they'll have Google+. You can share it on all of those platforms. The most common ones that you're going to be dealing with are going to be Facebook, Twitter, and possibly Instagram as well. Especially if you're sharing an article that wasn't written by you, it's probably you don't want to send it via email unless it's something that's just really powerful and you really want to get a conversation started. Now, if it's your article that you want to share, then maybe you will want to send it via email. So it's just kind of up to you as to what platforms you're going to want to share these on. We're going to start with the very obvious one, which is Facebook. So I'm just going to take my cursor right up here and I'm going to click on the word that says Facebook. Once I click on that, a box is going to pop up allowing me to log in. Many of you are probably already logged on to your account, and so you won't need to fill this box out. It will just automatically go into your screen. But in the event that you get this box, just make sure that your logon information is correct and then hit the login button. And I'm doing this on my personal page. If it doesn't take you to a login screen, it will take you immediately to this screen here. And so now there's the article. It's this box right here. It normally auto-populates a really cool picture. It gives you the subject line of what you want to share. Now, you can just go ahead and share it just like this. You can go down to the bottom and you can say post to my Facebook. Now, in the event that you want to write something to intro it as to why you're sharing this article, which I highly recommend, then you just want to write a little bit of text and you can just go ahead and type that right in. Just in the interest of saving time, I had already written mine down on a Word doc, so I'm just going to copy that and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click my cursor and you'll see the blinking cursor right there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to hit the Command keys, Command V, which allows me to paste it in because, like I said, I had already written it before. But you can also just go ahead and type right into the box. So you can just go right up here and say, hello, although I can't spell today. And so you can type right into the box, you can copy and paste, there's all kinds of different things you can do. Now you'll notice that I wrote a couple different lines here. What I wrote is really irrelevant. I do plan on sharing this on my personal page though, so I wanted to make sure I had a little intro as to why I was sharing this. I love emojis. I think emojis really grab attention, especially on a personal page. So I went ahead and grabbed some emojis and I put them in there. The other really important thing I want to talk about whenever sharing an article is hashtag. Hashtagging is this right here, these little blue boxes that have been highlighted. Hashtagging is really important because it allows you to get into a feed that is talking about that particular thing. My personal hashtag that I have claimed and use on every single post that I do is love this life we are living. This is a hashtag to where whenever you look at it, it will I will show up in that feed because that's a common hashtag that I always use. Now that's not a very good hashtag when you're trying to get into other people's feed or trying to get into common feeds, if you will. So I added some additional ones. This was just for fun for me to test how hashtags work, but now I've just gotten into the habit of always using it. Now, if you want to use a feed that's really common, so like Discover Hope, I'm going to use you as an example. One that you will always want to use is Discover Hope because that's your brand name. If you're doing an article that is about finding inner peace or something like that, then you'd want to use that terminology or those hashtags, if you will. So for example, the particular article that I'm sharing right now is about the foodie guide in Disneyland. So I want to hashtag Disneyland because I want people who are searching Disneyland to find me, or who people who are in that feed will find my article. Now Disneyland is a very common hashtag, so I will very quickly get moved down in the line. Like I will not, when you search Disneyland, you won't find me probably by the time you're watching this video because people are hashtagging that daily, multiple times a day. Another hashtag I used is Halloween. And then the last one I used was the Oogie Boogie Bash because this is talking about the Halloween event that's going on in Disneyland right now and having to do with the foodie guide that I'm sharing. These things are really relevant to my friends, and so these are hashtags that I want to use. And so when this post goes live, these things will be hyperlinked. So they can click on that hyperlink and it will allow them to view anyone else writing on the same topic. So it's really, really important that we're using relevant hashtags. And what I mean by relevant hashtags is if I'm on a post written by Bobby S. Morton regarding hope, and he has the hashtag hope in his, then I can click on the hashtag hope, and who knows, I might end up finding Discover Hope because of the hashtag hope from another article because you both use the same hashtag. The idea behind hashtags is to create a forum that has everything to do just with that specific hashtag. I know this is kind of overkill and it's a lot of information, but again, hashtags are really relevant and really important. They become more important on platforms like Twitter, where you can only use so many characters to say what you want to say. Hashtags are huge, and people will follow what they call trending hashtags. It's not quite as relevant on Facebook, but it is still a really good practice to get into. The rule of thumb for hashtags, especially on Facebook, is between 3 and 4. You don't want to go crazy with hashtags on Facebook because this is not a hashtag-driven platform. So I've got 4 here, which is a really good place to start, and I'm feeling really, really good about what I've written and what I want to share. I've got my hashtags in there. I've got my emojis in there. And so I'm ready to post this article. The article is attached. Everything looks great. Now the question is, do I want to share it on my personal page or do I want to share it on one of my business pages? Now I know that Jan has a Be Encouraged page, so she would have access to her business page. Discover Hope, Luann, Richard, Nicole, all of you have access to the Discover Hope business page. Music, you have Music Serving the Word. So you guys are all a part of a bigger group or of a business Facebook page, if you will. So if you wanted to post it on your business page, you would go right up here to the top that says share to newsfeed or story. You would click this down arrow right here and it will pop up with these options. You can share on a friend's timeline. So if it's a very specific article that you only want for a friend of yours to see, now obviously other people will see it, but if it's something that's very intentional, you could share it on a friend's timeline. I have done that in the past when I've read an article that I knew was really good, but it was really only relevant to 2 or 3 people. Then I've just shared it with those 2 or 3 people. You can share in a group if you're part of a group, which I think, Richard, you have started a group with your Armenia project, which is fantastic. You could share it directly into that group if you wanted to. You can share it as an event. So if you were posting an event, most of you aren't going to be dealing with that so much, so I'm not going to go into that a whole lot. And then you can share on a page you manage. This is what I was talking about a moment ago. This gives you the capability to share it on your business page, if you will. So I'm going to click this button. Ultimately, this is not where I'm going to share it because obviously I don't want to share it on Discover Hope's page or Be Encourages. But you'll see right there that another line pops up and it gives me the option of sharing it on one of the pages I manage. Now, if you manage a multitude of pages, which most of you will not, you can click this down arrow and it will give you the list of all of the different pages that you have available to you. And you can see that I have pretty much all of yours on here. I have Vicky's, I have Valley Jazz, Psalm Reborn, Not My Jesus, Music Serving the Word, so on and so forth. So I could share on any one of these business pages that I wanted. Let's just say, for sake of argument, I wanted to share it with the church, my church, Christ the Lord Lutheran Church. I could just click on that and then it changes the box and you can see their logo right there. And now that's the page that I'm posting to. In this particular scenario, I don't want to post on a page. I want to post on my personal one. So I'm going to go back up here and I'm going to click on Share to Newsfeed or Story. That's my newsfeed or my story. So then we're going to scroll down here to the bottom and you have the option. Right now, it will default with this checkbox saying Newsfeed. That is typically what you want to share in. Okay, so what is the difference between a newsfeed and a story? A news feed is that long list that shows up on your Facebook account. And if you bear with me here 1 second, I will give you an example of what that looks like. And that's this right here. This is my news feed. This is all the news that I put out there for people to see. So these are posts that I have put on my news feed. That's the difference between a news feed versus a story. What's a story, you ask? Because I haven't talked about that. A story is where you want to put a little clip that's going to last, I think, for 24 hours is the period of time that it shows up. So this is what my personal news feed looks like. Now, there's often a confusion between personal news feed and public news feed. A personal news feed is this right here. This is what you see whenever you log into Facebook. This is a page that shows me all the things that are going on with my friends, with the groups that I follow, with the pages that I follow. All of the information is going to be posted right here on this page. Now, what gets posted on this page is not what's seen on my personal newsfeed. My personal newsfeed is that one we were just looking at a minute ago that looks like this, okay? This is what people see when they go to my page. This is my page. These are the things that are live. These are the things that people can see. This feed, what we call the home, is the feed of other people's feed that I'm able to see. So when you're on this page, you'll notice a lot of times that they have this little box right here called stories. What stories are, as I was saying a minute ago, are quick little glimpses of what's happening, like a quick little story that you want to tell that's only going to stay up for 24 hours. It's not going to show on your newsfeed. It's not going to live there forever. It's going to be a very short little thing. So, for example, we'll just click on this Valley Youth Theater because I don't know what it is. So when you click on this, it just pops up with this really short story, and this particular one is asking me a question, or they're wanting you to ask a question. But that's only going to stay up there, like I said, for 24 hours. So that is not a good place to share relevant articles, blogs, things like that. The way you're going to want to do that is by sharing it on your news feed, not your story. Stories are relevant. Stories are good. There are things that I encourage you to do, and we'll probably dive into that a little deeper on a different podcast. Right now, we just really want to focus on sharing that blog post that you just wrote and you want to get traction to. So we're going to go back to where I was sharing, which it probably has gotten hidden on the back. There it is now. Okay, so I still haven't shared it yet, and that's what I want to do. We've already established that we want to share it to my newsfeed, my personal newsfeed. I've written a little bit about it that makes me feel good. I've got my hashtags on there. I've got my emojis to catch people's attention. So now I'm just going to go right down here. I'm going to put post to Facebook. And it's going to do its little thing, and then the box is going to disappear. So now you're like, well, did it actually work? Well, let's take a look. So we're going to go back to Facebook, that account that I was on a minute ago. Pop that back up. We're going to go right over here to my Facebook tab that was open. And then we can go to my page. And voila, there it is. I just posted and I shared an article with on my Facebook with a little bit of writing from me saying what I wanted to talk about. One of the things I want to point out to you whenever sharing a blog, whenever you write an intro to a blog that you're sharing or to an article that you're sharing, one thing that you want to consider is how much wording you're putting on the beginning. This is my personal page. This is for my friends. I really don't care if they read it. I'm not trying to get followers. This is just for fun for me. But this is something that you guys, for Discover Hope, Be Encouraged, Valley Jazz, all of you guys need to be thinking about is this right here. You see how there's a see more button? That is now requiring the person who's looking at my story to have to click a button here, then click the button that's going to take them someplace else. Try to keep your text short so that it's not running into a see more. Now, my see more was just my hashtag, so it really wasn't that big of a deal for me. And again, this is my personal page, so I really don't care. But keeping your text short and your intros into an article that you're sharing are very important. And they need to be compelling because you want them to click. You want them to have that energy that I want to see what she's talking about. This particular article, again, that I'm sharing is for fun. It's just something that I think my friends might enjoy. So I don't really care how many clicks I get on it. But if you're trying to get your blog out there and you're trying to get people to share it, then you're going to want to make sure that you're putting a very compelling text on there that is going to entice people to want to click. You also want to make sure that you have a picture that encourages them to want to click further into that article. So if it's your blog post, that's why the importance of adding pictures to your blog post comes through, because that picture that you've added to your blog will autofill right here where this picture is showing for this particular blog post. Again, I'm not really concerned about that. And as you can see, I've only had this up for 2 minutes and I've already got people liking it. That's a really good thing. That's grabbed people's attention. I've used keywords. This particular girl I know is a huge Disney fanatic. Everything I post about Disney, she's going to be all over it. And it's because of keywords that I use into my intro. So 2 minutes and I'm already getting likes. That is a good thing. That's what you want to be doing with your business pages and your personal pages. Your personal pages and your business pages should be flowing back and forth between each other, meaning that you don't want to have everything on your personal page and nothing on your business page, or vice versa. It's okay to share your blog on your business page and your personal page. You can also share from Facebook. So let's use Discover Hope as an example. I'm going to go to Discover Hope's page. I'm going to go to this top one here because that is their business page. And let's say you read an article on Facebook and you're like, I love this. I want to share this on my Facebook page. Well, this is a really great opportunity. Most of you are using this, so I think most of you get this. But you've got this like, comment, share. It's just really simple. You hit that share button and you can say, I want to share right now. I can share in a group or I can share to a page. When you hit the share button, let's see real quick, a box is going to pop up. Where do you want to share it? What do you want to write about? Do you want to include the original post? If you click this button, what that means is you're removing, when you click the button, you're now sharing the post that the other person wrote. So if you're sharing it from the Discover Hope page, whatever Discover Hope wrote about that article, if you click this button, is now going to show. It's also going to show Discover Hope's logo or whatever article you're talking about. If you just want to share the article and not what the other person said, just unclick that box and all it will do is share the article now. And so that's another way to share, is sharing from Facebook to Facebook. All right, so I think we've covered posting and sharing on Facebook. Now I'm going to hit cancel on this. And then I'm going to go back over here to my foodie guide. Okay, so we covered Facebook. We've shared this article on Facebook. Now we want to share it on Twitter, let's say. So you just click the button again and you go over here and this little box will pop up. I'm not logged into a Twitter account. I could log into one of yours. It doesn't look like I have any of the passwords saved. I don't have a personal Twitter account. I use business accounts for a multitude of different reasons, but I don't have mine auto saved. But it's the same idea. You're just going to put your username here and your password. That's something all of you should know and should know how to use. If you don't, please get with me or Caleb and we'll make sure to be sure that you guys know how to get into your Twitter account. However, we won't be able to retrieve your password if you don't know that. But as I was saying, this box will pop up, and right here it's got the foodie guide to Halloween. It tells you what the title of it is, and then it gives you the link. You can do the same thing here. You can say that I don't want this little weird ending, this at NBS what SP thing. So I'm going to remove that. I just want the title to show. I want the hyperlink to show, and then we want to do our hashtags again. We're going to do Oogie Boogie, Boogie Bash. We're going to do hashtag Disneyland. And then you would just hit the login and tweet button. I'm going to get an error message though because I'm not logged in. Again, this is pretty simple. So it's just using your credentials that you guys already have. So that would be logging on. And then same thing with Facebook. You just go to your page, make sure it's posted. So we're going to close out of that. All right. So let's say you wanted to share it via Pinterest or email. It's going to be the same rules. The same things are going to pop up. You're going to get a little window. It's going to give you the opportunity to add whatever additional text you want to add to it. I always recommend putting your own little text on it. Some scenarios you don't need to, but if you're sharing an article, especially if it's one that you didn't write, then you want to make sure you let people know why you find this compelling and why they need to click on the link. So I always recommend putting some sort of text, even if it's just a goofy emoji and nothing else. That goes a long way. The other place that you might want to share things at is Instagram. This one's not giving me an option for Instagram, but it would work the same way. You would just type into, or you would just hit on the button, type in your text. Okay, so now I've been picking on Discover Hope a little bit, so now I want to look at Be Encouraged. And let's say you were on your Be Encouraged website, and let's just look at a different article, something different than Disneyland. So as I said, I was picking on Discover Hope, so let's do Be Encouraged now. So if you go to the website, I went to the home page, I clicked on blog, I picked a specific blog that I wanted. Down here at the bottom, same thing. Hers look a little different just because of the way we chose to design hers. And she also has different options on hers. She has the Google+, she has the Pinterest, she has the LinkedIn, shared on Twitter, shared on Facebook. So those are going to be really good ones to share on it as well. Obviously, we covered Twitter, we covered Facebook. LinkedIn is the business page where a lot of articles can be good. Sometimes there are things that are just not relevant, like the foodie guide for Halloween would not be relevant for LinkedIn. But talking about prayer in the workplace or something like that, I don't know that any of you have written on that, but that would be a really good article that you might want to use on a LinkedIn platform. Pinterest, when thinking about Pinterest, Pinterest is the name of it is exactly what it does. It's pinning things to your bulletin board, if you will. And the idea behind that is it started out with the crafty idea behind it. Craftiness being like, I want to make this dish for dinner one night, or I want to make this really crafty pumpkin for Halloween. And so you could pin those things to the board. It's grown to be a little bit more than that, but for the most part, that's where its core is at. So posting inspirational things on Pinterest are a great idea. I love pinning things like that on Pinterest. Google Plus is just another kind of social platform. I personally do not use it. I don't know a lot of people who do. I don't know that that's necessarily a platform that you guys need to be sharing on, but you do want to have it available as an option for people who do use it. So Instagram is the only other one that we haven't talked about. Instagram is another really great platform. Again, as I've said before, it is very visually driven. The thing with Instagram, and the reason why it's going to be really hard for me to show how that works on the computer is that it's a very mobile-driven kind of device. So when you're on your mobile device, you'll have the ability to copy and paste text in, share a picture, things like that. I could probably do a whole video on Instagram alone. However, as long as I'm working on the computer, I won't be able to show you on the computer because Instagram has taken away the ability to share or to write a post or create a post on a desktop. So I will look into that a little more and see if I can't figure out a way to do a mobile video for you guys and see if we can't show you how to use Instagram, or just let me know if that's something that you're interested in and I'd be happy to meet with you and help you with Instagram. The one other thing that I want to make sure that you guys are aware of, if for some reason there's an article that you're looking at that does not give you share options, but you feel like it's a really good article that you want to share, you always have the capability of going right up here and you can copy this text right here, which you can see I already had it highlighted just by double clicking it. And then I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to go down here and I'm going to hit the copy button. Once I hit the copy button, I'm now I'm taking this URL and I'm getting ready to take it somewhere. So let's just go back to Facebook because again, this is the platform that I think most of you are going to be working on. I'm going to go back to my page. I'm going to click right here in this box and I'm going to say, all right, Command V, I'm pasting it in, or you can right click and paste it in. It's going to take it a few seconds. You can see it's trying to fetch the preview. This is the way that you can always share an article this way. One of the things that I've learned over the years of sharing direct links is that the first time that you post it in, it's not going to grab that photo. I don't know why that is. So just X out, go to your home page. Yes, I want to leave this page because it didn't do what I wanted it to do. And you can post directly from here as well. So you could go right here and you could do the Command V again to post it in. And this time it auto-populates the photo. I don't know why it doesn't work on the first time, it just doesn't. And then what I typically do whenever I share a URL link, because this auto-populated here, I don't want to leave this messy URL here. So I'm going to go and I'm going to delete that now that everything is auto-populated in, and it doesn't take the article away. It's just saying that I don't need a duplicate of that URL. And then you can type in this is a, well, maybe a great article, and then you can go through the same steps that we went through before. You can hit post, and it's not giving me the option of posting it on a business page because I already made that choice by going to my personal page and putting the link into my personal box. Had I wanted to post on Christ the Lord's page, then I would have needed to click on Christ the Lord, come here, and then type in. And you can always know who you're posting as by this little logo here. If it shows the church logo, then that means I'm posting as the church, and it's going to show as if the church posted it. If it shows my headshot, then that means that I'm at that page posting as myself. So like I said, if you want to post from your business page and you're copying a URL over, you just need to make sure that you go to the page that you're intending to share it on and make sure that you've got the right logo showing right there. So I think that was a pretty lengthy explanation of how to share. I hope that it's taught you a little something. I think the next video we're going to be diving into just the nuts and bolts of navigating the different social media platforms, and we'll do them one at a time so that it's not overload. Get out there, share your post, share other people's posts, because if people see you sharing, then they might be inclined to share what you're writing as well. Make sure you're using your hashtags. Compelling pictures are always really important. Thank you again for checking out one of our videos, and we look forward to talking with you on the next video. Thanks again and have a good one. Bye.